Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Shooters Lounge podcast. I'm your host, Matt, at PostUp323. Don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. You can follow us on YouTube, or you can listen back to this podcast on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts. Tonight, the rumors of his demise have been greatly exaggerated. He's the OG. I've done several podcasts with this man, going way back to lockdown days when we all had a lot more time on our hands. We've got the return, Jordan. Jordan, welcome back to the Shooters Lounge, my friends. Good to see you, bro.
Oh, mate, honestly, it is an absolute privilege to be in your esteemed company this evening. I mean, honestly, like you said, many a night when COVID was, when we were in and we were still dipping in and out of lockdown when that first really sort of started happening, when we were sort of doing it on a regular basis. And,
yeah, man.
back then, I mean, we used to go on for 3 hours at a time. But we were never bored, were we? We always had things to say. It was always, I wonder what tangent we're going to go on this week. And
it was just a question on how long it was going to be, Jordan, wasn't it? How long was the podcast going to go on for? It was good. Back to the end of the bench days, wasn't it, man? End of the bench.
Oh yeah, what a time to be alive that was.
Motley crew, motley crew, mate. Oh, bro. Good times, man. Good times. But it's good to see you, bro. How are things? Are we good?
Everything mate, we could not be better than right now. This is like the Oscars, isn't it? Really, but just like on steroids. It's even better than that. So I mean, yeah. Look, we always had good chemistry together, mate. So this is, of course, going to be one for the ages for me, for sure. And I hope everyone who's listening and watching enjoys it as well, because we're gonna have fun today, definitely.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. I don't get you on very much, so I have to make the most of it when we do now these days, man. You're a busy man. Hard to get hold of these days.
Oh, what can I say, mate? All these offers and everything. I mean, my agent only puts me in touch with the best, though. So that's why I'm here.
And that's why you haven't been on here. Okay, that's fair. And we're off. How many? 2 minutes 41. There we go. Very good. And we're off. No, I get it, mate. No, you're a busy man, mate. Your time is precious, mate. But I appreciate you coming back on, mate. It's good to have you on again. So I don't think I've had you on this season. So this is the first one of the season, as it's getting down to the the business end of it, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this is it. This is where legends are made. This is where we see the same teams hitting the best form at the right times. Not naming names, but I think we all know what I'm talking about. But yeah, this is where it starts. This is where obviously a lot more of the casual fans and the casual audience will start watching on a more regular basis, and it's the gear up time, isn't it? We're seeing the pretenders are going to start falling away by the wayside over the next 2 or 3 weeks, because it always hits that just pre-playoff point that we're approaching now, where some of the teams that may have be higher up in the pecking order, you start seeing the fragilities, and in a few weeks' time, when it hits that playoff, when it is playoff time, we're going to very quickly see who the real contenders are and who the pretenders are. So, well, like I said, man, it's where legends are made.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely, bro. This is where legends are made, bro, isn't it? This is it. This is when, like you say, the pretenders are kind of found out. Them regular season darlings, shall we say, some of them? Or
what do you say, New York Knicks?
I thought he was going to be aiming at somebody. You haven't got the Sixers to have a go at this time.
No, this is it. But I mean, even away, then, I mean, you say regular season darlings. I mean, the New York Knicks aren't anyone's darlings, but they're just, they look threatening in the regular season, and then they just get stomped all over by a 6-foot guard who can't defend, as has become the norm.
And there it is. Always the Knicks love on this podcast from Jordan. Always. Always. Have you been enjoying the Sixers' demise, being a Celtics fan, bro, this time? Or
I mean, to be quite honest, I can't even. I honestly, for the first time, I think ever, I can't actually take any pleasure in it, because it's just like, they've got nothing. They've got Joel Embiid, who is knees are just absolutely done now. It's not even funny anymore.
It's not good, man. It's not good.
I mean, apart, they've got he's got Jaron McCain and Tyrese Maxey, and that's it. There really is nothing really else going on there. It's actually got to the point now, Matt, where I feel like if I was to say something, I'm just beating a dead horse at this point. It's not even entertainment anymore.
It's actually cruel right now. Oh.
Honestly, it is down that bad.
AB's having a bad time, man. Shout out to AB. He's having a bad time at the moment.
Oh man, he's a braver man than I could ever be.
Funnily enough, the man doesn't want to come on the podcast. I wonder why. I'm not sure.
Got no idea.
Never available. Again, busy man. Busy.
Oh, he's especially not available this week.
He's a busy man, mate. Busy man. Everybody's busy, but yeah, man. So we're gonna go through a few topics today, man. Kind of what Jordan's kind of thoughts are on the NBA this season, because like I say, it's the first time we've had you on this season, mate. So better late than never, of course. So what kind of thoughts are you for this season, George? What have you seen so far that you're liking or disliking, or just shoot it off, mate? Whatever's in your mind right now regarding NBA, what we're seeing.
I just think it's been a bit of a strange season, really. I mean, obviously, like I said to you, it's only sort of been the last sort of maybe like 3.5 months where like the passion's come back like big time, and
yeah,
I think it genuinely is. It's just fatigue with the way that the league is at the moment. I hate to be negative straight off the bat, but we just see it all the time with the league are addressing the wrong issues and things that will draw a fan base. Because I mean, this is going to be. I don't know. Obviously, we haven't got the statistics for it yet, but this is going to once again be another season of declining viewership, because that's been the going trend for the last 7-8 years now.
Yeah.
I think with the exception of when it was lockdown, because that was the only sport that anyone could watch.
Yeah.
But that's an anomaly in of itself. So
sure.
I think realistically there needs to be a serious discussion now about the direction of the league and where it's going. We've had discussions outside of the pod on several occasions about the fact that no one really wants to see 140-point games. Because then it's like, well, I might as well not bother watching the first half. It's pointless. Because even if someone's 20 points in the lead, it doesn't really mean much. Whose responsibility? Because I mean, obviously people are going to say, look, it's on coaching, it's on the way that you set up for the games, it's on the way that teams are playing at the moment. But there has to be something that changes it. Because the one thing, I don't care how many times Adam Silver wants to say it, once again, it's going to be another season where it's an all-time amount of three-point attempts. Nobody watches basketball to see every team play the same way and just shoot a three. There's no hustle really anymore. There is on defense, but not on offense. There's no desire to drive into the paint, get some of these massive highlight plays. And why do you think? And obviously, Ja Morant's had his issues, but why do you think he was as popular as he was? Why do you think people love Anthony Edwards and he's become quickly one of the faces of the league? It's because they have those kind of plays that get inside. Something different, something that you can't say every team has got. Every team's got a really good three-point shooter. Every team has got some kind of three-point game. Not every team has got a dynamic guard that can shift big time and get inside and score in a variety of different ways. And I feel like that is something that I don't know how you address it, because it might be impossible. It might just be that's just where it is now. But I honestly think that has made things less interesting. And I don't know how you can reward people by going inside more, maybe put less prevalence on the 3-point line. But I think that has been one thing over the last season and a half that I've time and time again coming back to, and I've just thought when Steph Curry and the Warriors are doing it, it was fun. But when everyone does it, it's not fun anymore. It ruins the overall pleasure of watching basketball. And it's if you ask a lot of people, it used to be an old head opinion, but I think this is maybe the common opinion these days. That is not basketball. That is not what basketball was designed to be, and that's not what it is at its core.
Yeah,
it's so much more than that, and I feel like that is spoiling it. So that's my overwhelming takeaway.
Interesting, mate. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting coming from a Celtics fan, bro, because who are the team they were leading in 3-point attempts per game is your boys, mate. So it's interesting that you do say that as well. So, I mean, it does work because, you guys, went all the way and won the title last year, didn't you? But when you've got games where teams are taking 63s a game, man, we're at a point where it's not really like you say, just pleasing to watch. And I think that it's impressive when majority of them go in and stuff. But in terms of style of play and things like that, but if you get people, or when you've got 5 of them on the floor and they can all shoot at least 40% from 3, is that something that you're leaning towards? And that's how teams are kind of structured now, aren't they, George?
Yeah, exactly, man. I mean, it's a good point. I didn't want to say it myself because I thought I know the irony of it is that obviously the Celtics are far and away. And I mean, Joe Mazzulla even said, didn't he, after we lost to the Warriors, he was like, "We are going to be the number 1 3-point shooting team next year."
Yeah.
And all right, it didn't work that season, but it worked the next season. So all right, job done. But that's not the point. The point is what's going to make the league better. And that kind of, I mean, you even look at, just to compare it to like the NFL, and the running back game died. No one was the ground game. No one was interested. Everyone wanted to see long range passing, and then all of a sudden, we've got a wealth of talent in that area, and now the running back is back. And it's like, what can the NBA do, or what can happen to make the inside game better again? And sort of think about, because that is realistically, that's what they are, highlight plays. If you're looking, when people do montages and things like that on different players, with the exception of Stephen Curry, no one wants to see someone just taking 3-point shots. You want to see the variety. You want to see the big poster dunks inside, some different skills and things like that. But when you've just got players out there that are literally just spotting up and shooting, or they're just going to dribble it, not do anything, just literally just dribble, step back 3, or dribble, 3 in your face. And it's like, it's all right when it's your team, but you're going to watch your team regardless.
Yeah.
So that's not really what's important. What's important is the overall league and the way that the games are played. And I just feel like that is what is that is what, I'm not saying it's the only thing, but I do think that is quite a big thing, especially with some of the older fans and the fans that have been watching it for a very long time. That is definitely one thing that is putting people off and making them think this is it's getting silly. And it's all trending in the same direction, because you're not going to get drafted. If you're a center and you've got no outside game, you're not getting drafted. You've got to have some element of it, unless you're literally insane at something. You're not going to get drafted as a 4 or a 5 if you cannot shoot the 3 at a decent clip. And then we're missing out on players who might end up developing to be, great shot blockers, unbelievable paint protectors, because they're just not necessary anymore, because no one's going inside. So it does have a massive knock-on effect on everything.
Yeah, I think the era of the big man's coming back slightly as it probably did, maybe 5 or 10 years ago, innit? With Jokic and Embiid and to name a few kind of thing. It's definitely coming back slightly, but I think like dunks in general are just down, aren't they, as well? I mean, the game has kind of been reduced to now 3 points and layups, isn't it? That's pretty much what the game is now. And as apart from a couple of exceptions who kind of, in that mid-range kind of thing, like DeRozan's made a career out of mid-range jump shots, hasn't he? But to name a few others, CP3, Booker as well, a few others, they kind of made a living in that kind of mid-range game. But it's literally, it's a 3 or it's a layup dunk, and that's kind of where we're at. And it's will it change? Sometimes it kind of changes with the eras, doesn't it? Now it's kind of like you say, everybody wanted to be the Warriors because that's what they thought the recipe was. But where's it end, bro? Do we go to 73s a game? Where's it end? If the Celtics win again this year, bro, I mean, that's going to be, well, everybody's going to make their team according to what the Celtics are, because that's the winning formula, isn't it? where it could change, but I don't think it's going anywhere right now. I don't think.
I mean,
Everybody wants to
I
be
might.
Steph
I
Curry.
don't know if I've hoodwinked your sort of question, because I feel like I've just made this about whether the 3-point there's too much emphasis on it. But I do think, just to shoehorn this in, and I think it's very relevant, and I can literally hear the philosopher in my own head when I say this.
Yeah.
People do not play perimeter defense like they used to. And that is 100% a catalyst behind it.
Yeah.
These days, it's all about double team rotations. There's not many pure one-on-one defenders that can guard anyone one-on-one in their respective positions.
Yeah.
And there's players that are good perimeter defenders, but it was like we had a discussion, didn't we, about the best perimeter defenders of all time. I don't think one person got even mentioned that played outside of anywhere later than the 2000s.
Yeah.
And that most of the people were 80s, 90s, 2000s players. No one in the 2010s got mentioned.
No.
I think Kawhi did, and that got laughed out of the building. Yes, he's a good defender, but not top 10, top 15 of all time. And it's like, that should realistically send a message. The perimeter shot, if it's not being defended by good perimeter defenders, then yeah, everyone's going to start doing it, because I mean, the amount of times that you see people trying to guard players, and it's like they'll try for 5 seconds, and then it's like, oh, they're going to shoot. Oh, I'll just put a lazy hand up and try and block it. That's not going to work. It's just that it's not going to work. There needs to be more heart in it, and I feel like that'd be the only thing. If you had a team, if you were going to assemble a team, and you said, all right, let's have the best perimeter defenders in the league, and match that up against some of the better 3-point shooters, just to compare the stats. I wonder how much that would influence different teams on maybe the way they're training and things on the defensive side. It might not make a difference, because maybe players are just that elite now from deep that it won't really matter. But I'd like to just see it just out of interest, because I think it would alter things at least a little bit.
Yeah, I think there's probably a number of factors, bro. Like you've said there, how defending is, also how the games are ref now, probably got a lot to do with it too, because you go anywhere near a top player and you haven't got to touch him much, and it's a foul, isn't it, already? And also there's that as well, having the jump shots landing spot. If you're in the landing spot, as they say, and it's a foul, and you could get a flagrant for that now these days, and that's probably got a lot to do with it. Well, if you get too close, they go up to the jump shot, draw a foul. Players are very offensively astute now, aren't they? Like Harden made a living out of this, hasn't he? Of being just drawing fouls and being able to Trae Young as well. Another kind of example, CP3 back a few years ago. Very offensively clever that they can draw these fouls and stuff like that. I think it's a number of things, George. Probably not just one reason. I think a number of reasons, bro, isn't it?
Yeah, and I mean, even then, one of the main reasons that Harden is not respected maybe to the level that he should be a lot of it is to do with that. It's to do with that because no one wants to see someone buying fouls. And there's someone else that I'm going to mention on that vein. I'm not going to let the cat out the bag yet. But
I know exactly what you're going to say, bro. I know exactly.
But that should tell you enough. And the respect will never be there from real basketball fans for those kind of players, because no one wants to see someone that's going to go into a game and essentially cheat another 10 points onto their total just because they're good at getting fouls. That's not what the game is. Like I was saying about the 3-point shot, that is not what the game is intended for. That is not. Yes, you're taking advantage. Well, exactly. No one likes someone who's going to take advantage of things. It's as is in life. You don't want someone who's going to take the advantage of things, whether it be whatever it is. And it's the same within basketball. No one wants to see someone just conning the way to a better record, better stats, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And again, that's another thing that they need to look at. Like I said, it's more than obviously just a 3-point shot, but I just think we are in an era now where we are. How are we going to attract newer people? Younger fans, and then you attract those younger fans, and this is a product that you've got. So then they get accustomed to it, and it gets entrenched. Then that's the culture. It's about if you're a guard, learn how to win easy fouls. If you're a 4 or a 5, forget about rim protection. Just shoot the ball. And then you're going to have possessions where everyone's around the perimeter. There's not even anyone under the basket because no one is even going to go for that shot.
Yeah.
And it can spiral out of control. So I don't know what they need to do to change it, but I think it needs addressing urgently because it's not going to bring viewers in if this keeps trending in this direction. We're going to keep losing some of the older guard, and we're not going to be bringing as many people because it's just not as entertaining to watch as. You know, obviously, it's always been behind the NFL in terms of viewership, always by a considerable distance.
Yeah.
But you are never going to bridge that gap by putting
No.
on such a weak product in comparison to something like that.
Yeah, I mean that NFL's the big the big fish, isn't it, in terms of the US sports, man? It's massive. It's over anything really, any other sports. But I think NBA's number 2 in probably the US sports, isn't it? It's pretty safe to say. I think because baseball's on the decline, and I think so's ice hockey. Probably Premier League might be overtaking ice hockey and baseball, mate, in America. To be honest, a lot more people are watching Premier League in America now than they ever have, I think.
Well, I mean, at the same time, it's almost because I did watch like the podcast that Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce do, and I know that someone asked the question and they said, "Do you think what if they reduce the schedule?" Because everything's got to adapt. It's always been an 82 game season.
Yeah.
What if now we're in an era? You just take your example there, Matt. 38 game season. You don't have to be obsessed with it to follow it.
No.
You can have that casual. It appeals to the casual more. NFL, you've got it's an 18-week season. Playoffs are one and done. All right, okay, that's one reason that everyone always says the NBA playoffs are better than the NFL playoffs because it's a true test. And you can't just, if you just play really well on one given day and the other team play really crap, that's not a real test. So that's why I think, the consensus is that the NBA champion, it's harder to win than the Super Bowl. But 82 games plus the playoffs, that's a lot. And it's like baseball's the same. It's what is it, like 160 game season?
Yeah.
Ice hockey's also a lot of games, and it's just if you reduce that to if you halved it to 41, I know that sounds almost like
that's a big change, bro.
I'm not saying do that, but
no, yeah, I get you.
Just for example, if you halved it to 41 games, I think that would grow the audience massively. And I think also they need to start appealing because obviously the NFL have done really well by having these European games, having the London games, having the games in Germany now, and obviously they're expanding from next season and going to have it more locations.
Yep.
When do their games? When does their early window start? 6 p.m. UK time on a Sunday.
Yeah.
And then they have the late window 9:15, 9:30. NBA games, with the exception of Saturday and Sunday, where even on a Saturday, they might only start at 10 or 11 o'clock at night, when you're competing with boxing, UFC, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's not easy. And then a Sunday night, there's generally a 6 o'clock game and an 8:30 game. If they
when the NFL finishes, there isn't they? That's when you get them games, mate. Yeah.
But it's like if you did it in the week, more. If you had every now and again, even if you just had one game, when there's a full slate of games, if you've got 10, 12, 14 games in a day, if you had one of those games that started at 8 p.m. at night, I guarantee you the international audience would start watching it. And then that is then the way in to draw in international viewership. When you only have games on that are competing with other leagues and stuff like that, Saturday night, it's never going to work because there's always football and things that are going on in international countries that are going to take precedent. Yeah, I think it would be a good idea for them to have like a feature night, even if it was like on a Tuesday and a Thursday or something like that, just to give people in different countries a bit of a taste. It would drive up international viewership, and then in turn, that would then feed back to the US. It's going to benefit the league a lot more. I just feel like, I don't want to piss off anyone, and I don't want to piss off any of the Americans. But at the same time, you can't. You've got to stop looking at it as in this is because you are going to let your sport die if you don't open it up to the wider market. And if you open it up to the wider market and you give them things that are going to make them watch it, it's going to benefit you and your league and your fan base and your team so much more.
Yeah.
So I think something like that approach, man, would be a good idea of at least giving people more exposure and things like that, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. I've spoke about it on a previous podcast with Mark from the Throwback Store about why they don't have they have a couple of games in Paris, didn't they, this season? For the amount of games that the NBA have, why they aren't having more games in Europe? The NBA is more popular in Europe than the NFL is. I think 100%. It's not even a debate. But they have more NFL games in Europe than they do NBA games. I think the NBA are missing a trick 100%. Adam Silver announced today they're doing something with FIBA about a European league or something like that. So I'd just have more games in Europe. I don't get it. Why they don't have games in UK, Spain, Greece. You could have it all over Europe, mate. People would go 100%. I think they're going to have games in the UK, aren't they? I think they've kind of previously announced that they're going to be at the Co-op Arena, aren't they, in Manchester? I don't know how many games, but they haven't kind of officially announced it, but it's kind of a worst kept secret kind of thing. But why they don't have more games? I mean, you know, the NFL are going to have a game at the fucking Bernabeu, mate, next season. I don't think a lot of people in Spain are watching the NFL, but people will go and it'll be a thing. You know, whether it's people from other countries will go to Spain because it's better than going there than going over to the US. Obviously, it's a lot closer and stuff. But I think the NFL are very more susceptible to doing new things. They're having a game in Ireland, aren't they, this time as well? Brazil and everywhere. So I think the NBA are definitely missing a trick. For how many regular season games they have, you can't give up 5 regular season games. Or I had a conversation with my mate a few months ago, and he was like, why don't you take, like, I don't know, 4 or 6 teams and have them play in Europe for like a week? They play each other throughout the week. And you have him in different cities playing, like, you know, every 3 nights or something. And one game it's in Greece, another game it's at the O2 in London, or the next game's in Spain. Or to me, they're missing a massive trick, mate. Because, like you say, that the market in Europe is definitely a thing. The only thing I'd say about changing the tip-off times, bro, is it wouldn't look good because probably not as many people would go to the actual game in the US, and so it'd look bad because the crowd would be halfway there. Half empty, I think. I don't know.
Financially, though, that would be a lot better for the league.
Yes,
you obviously you're not gambling as much, and it's something that's an easy experiment to do. You could do that with very little planning. There's no logistics to consider. That is very, very simple, even just as a test. And I know when they've had, you know, obviously, you know, red zone's a thing. 365 used to be a thing. And I know they've brought it back for special occasions, like when it was MLK Day. They've done that a couple of times.
Yeah,
where you've had games starting at 6 and they've gone all the way through the night. Obviously, Christmas Day is the same kind of thing. Yeah. And that would be a huge thing. Even if that happened like once every 2 months, happened like 4 times through the season, that would be a huge showpiece for international audiences. But I think that's a really good idea, man. You know, about having like maybe 4, 6 teams a season, or even having like marquee teams for different countries. Like, you know, if you have the Nuggets play, can you imagine the Nuggets playing in Serbia? Could you imagine?
Have you seen them crowds in Serbia, bro? Them guys are like, they're on another level, bro, at them games. Have you seen them games, man?
But with the flares and everything else.
Oh,
but I mean, could you imagine Jokic and the Nuggets going and playing in Serbia? It would be unbelievable.
Absolutely.
And
you know, you have Giannis in Greece. You know,
exactly.
It writes itself, doesn't it, bro? You know, there's a lot of European players in the league now, and a lot of them have been previous MVPs for the last 4-6 years. Like, you know, they're European players, aren't they?
And I think it's even more than that, mate, because you think the NFL just I know we keep comparing the two at the minute, but the NFL, how many foreign players play in the NFL?
Very few.
You can probably count it on one hand. There really isn't, and even most of those players are practice squad players. They're never going to get a sniff really doing anything substantial. You look at the NBA, there are well over 100 international players in that league now.
And they're some of the best players in the league as well, aren't they? Yeah, absolutely.
And you just think, why would you not lean more into that? Surely you're in the position that you should be doing what the NFL are doing twice over.
Mm-hmm.
But now you're going to sit you. But then all of a sudden, it's like once again, the NFL's got the jump on you. They've already got a massive advantage, and they have once again got the jump on you. And whether you can put that down to being the NBA have not got a visionary chairman. They do not have someone there. Adam Silver just wants to be keeping everything ticking over at the same pace like it has been all along, and blah,
everybody
blah,
happy.
blah.
Yeah.
That's not how things work. If you're, realistically, you are selling the league. And I know Adam Silver's a very successful businessman, but for whatever reason, that's not converted itself over to that. You have to sell the league, and you've got to do it on the global stage these days. Just sticking to the US market is not what is gonna. That's not what's going to do it. You have to expand, and I just think it's so frustrating because it's like all these ideas sound really good on paper, and I'm sure there's people listening and watching and stuff that probably would agree with it 100% and will be way behind it. And I know I'd definitely spend the money to go and if the Celtics came to London, man, I don't care how much the tickets cost. If I've got to go for a resale, I don't care if I've got to pay 300, 400, 500, 600 pounds. If I get a chance to go and watch the Celtics play live in London without having to fork out thousands of pounds to fly out to Boston to go and watch them play.
You're going, aren't you?
As much as I'd like to do that once in my lifetime, but that's a once in a lifetime kind of thing.
Sure.
If they, even if I feel like I'm going on a tangent here, but
when do we not, mate? This is what we do, isn't it?
But an 82 game season, there is definitely capacity to have every single team play abroad in a year, and it won't even put a dent in how many domestic games are played. Even if every single team played one game away from the US, once a year, you're still talking 97, 98% of the games are still going to be played in the US. So that's not what it's about. And just give up that 2 or 3% to benefit the state of the league. And you're going to draw in so many more fans, man. I mean, think about all the young kids in Europe and stuff that are going to see that and think, wow, that could be me one day, because he came from the same country as me, or he came from the same village as me, he came from the same city as me. I can go and do that. And you kind of not getting that vibe at the minute. It's like even years ago when they used to go on camps in the summer. I can remember the photo of Rondo, Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, all the Celtics 2008 squad outside the Colosseum in Rome. And they went there and they had 2-3 weeks. And it's like even something like that draws exposure, and they don't even do things like that anymore. Because all of the summer camps are behind closed doors. Are away from prying eyes. They're in the middle, or they're in cities that they're never going to get bothered by. I think was it the Lakers or the Clippers? They had a camp in Dubai last year, and it's
there was a couple of games in Dubai in the off season, pre-season.
Oh yeah. Oh well, you know what? Well done. You have you seen the state of boxing recently?
I'm literally clutching at straws, bro. Yeah, that's kind of all we've got.
But again, it's another case of them missing the point, because all Dubai is going to do is, you're going to get treated very well when you're out there. It's not going to make any fans. None of them care. It's the same as boxing. None of them are interested. All it is it's a trophy piece for their friends to say, oh, look, we've put this event on. I've had tickets to it. None of them give a shit. And it's the same thing with that. All it would be is it would just be, oh, we've had the Clippers come in and play in our state. And, oh, right, okay. And then next season, someone's going to try and one-up on it. Be like, well, we've had the Lakers playing it. You're missing the point entirely. I just feel like the league can be doing so much more for the fans.
100%, mate.
And realistically, I think that's where it's all gone wrong. It's the neglect of the fans and not putting them first, because the league would never have been in that position in the first place if it wasn't for the pioneers that built it with the support of the fans. And it's like they're letting everyone down.
Yeah. Are you saying then you're a vote of no confidence in Adam Silver then? Is that what you're saying?
Oh man, I mean, we never really spoke about it before, but he's not cut out to be the he's just he never has been. It's
He
like,
was groomed to be the he was groomed to be the guy though.
No, I know he was. I know he was
you
groomed
know,
by David Stern, but David Stern is as great as a commissioner as he was, and he was a good commissioner. He did get a few things wrong, so
yeah, absolutely.
he maybe it is just that was not the right fit, and I don't think it is the right fit. Seems like a lovely bloke, but at the same time, he's supposed to be the big boss of the league.
Mm.
He's not supposed to be liked. So, and it's like, people hate Roger Goodell.
They absolutely hate.
They hate Roger Goodell.
But the owners love him, though, bro.
Exactly, and he's
the owners love him, mate. Yeah,
and he's still doing more for that league,
yeah,
and more for the fans, even though they don't like him, than they'll ever really understand.
Even though he gets booed every Super Bowl. It's okay, guys. I'm on 50 million a year. It's okay. Well, I think we're good. But no, like you say, maybe Silver's kind of, I don't know. He's tried to change things, hasn't he? There's certain things that he has done, like the play-in tournament is probably the thing he probably holds his hat on, maybe, is his big change. But he's tried to change the All-Star game. That's another thread if you want to pull at that one, mate. What the All-Star game was like, we've done that before, haven't we? So the first year I haven't watched it, bro, this year, and I was totally okay with it. I was fine. Yeah.
Likewise, and funnily enough, I was off the whole of All-Star weekend. I wasn't working. I could have watched the whole thing, and I did not even tune in to a second of it. Yeah. And it's just like, because all of the we had the conversation maybe like 3 years ago now, and we had all these good ideas, and we thought, well, surely at least they're going to lean into some of it, and they've not even done any of it. And it's just like, well, it's the same stuff every year. It's like no one watches the All-Star break to see Mr. Beast do a giveaway. What are we doing?
We're done, mate. Yeah, I'm out. I'm done. Yeah, it's fine.
And
I don't watch it. It's
thing
cool.
Where it's like, oh well, the rising stars can come and take on the All-Stars. That is not what All-Star Weekend is about.
Yeah.
You earn that jacket as an All-Star. You people have literally given their entire careers up to make one All-Star break. And it's I think the only genuine reaction that I've seen about getting a call up to an All-Star game that I've thought, wow, man, I'm really happy for you, was Jalen Brunson the other year for the Knicks.
Yeah.
My phone falls away. When he was genuinely emotional that he'd been called up.
Yeah,
he must be the only one that I've seen in the last several years that's actually looked like he cares about making an All-Star game.
Yeah.
And I think that's another thing that is for the fans, isn't it? It's like we were just saying about the fans feeling like the All-Star game is for the fans, and even the players always say it. This is our give back to the fans and everything. Well, you're not giving back very much, are you?
You're showing. Does that show what the players think of the fans? I don't know, but they're not showing me much respect and stuff. Like you say, it's for the fans, and he's tried to change that, and it hasn't worked, and maybe back to the drawing board or what with that. But maybe you're right, bro. Maybe Silver, Alex say, is he a people pleaser? Is that who Silver is? He just likes to be liked, and he likes to please people in this kind of, it's a players' league, isn't it? And players dominate the league and have a lot of say and stuff. And I think he just doesn't want to be. I mean, Stern, if anybody kind of got out of line, Stern was definitely in that regard quick to, lay down the law with people. He didn't care about stuff like that. But I think Silver might be a bit more standoffish when it comes to stuff like that.
Well, I mean, if you believe the rumors, mate, David Stern would even stand up to Michael Jordan.
If you believe
the rumors there,
Mike, take a seat, mate. You're done for a year.
You're done for a year, my friend. Get out of here.
If that is true, mate, I mean, if that is true, who knows? Only them two will know. But oh dear. But Tony took us half an hour, mate, and we solved the league. So that's all it takes, mate. Just get us two on a pod, and we solve everything. There we go. Do more Europe things, and fix the All-Star. But going to like teams and players, George. Anybody you've kind of been surprised by probably by either how bad they're doing or how well they're doing or improvement maybe at certain teams?
Well, I was negative on the first one, so I'm going to be positive here.
Oh,
I mean, I've got to say it, man. I don't care if there are rivals in the East. I don't care. I'm so proud of this Cavs team, man. I genuinely am.
Okay. Right.
It is a good news. I can still remember way back when Evan Mobley. I was red hot on Evan Mobley when he got drafted. I was like, this guy's a good dude. He cares. He is going to be a special player in a few years' time, and he's not even hit full form yet. He's still evolving, and he is looking like, oh man, every time I watch him, just both sides of the floor, he's developing his offensive game. I mean, even when he first came out, and the first season, I was thinking he's playing a lot better defense than I was expecting.
Yeah.
Just straight off the jump, that translated from the college game a lot better than I think a lot of people were sort of expecting. And he's one of the leaders on that team now.
Yes.
I think, you look at Spider Mitchell again, undersized guard, gives it 100%. He plays with heart, can do so much. He's one of those players that is dynamic. He can get inside, he can put a nasty poster on someone, and he's also got an amazing outside game. He's prolific from free. Not a cone on defense, but not amazing, but that's not a problem when you've got Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley in the front court. Who cares?
Does help, doesn't it? It does help.
So, I mean, obviously that's a big advantage, and even Darius Garland, he's been there for. It feels like forever. It's like I've watched him grow up the whole way through, with the Cleveland Cavaliers, and I just think when I was going through some stuff like a few years ago, and I can still remember, even though he doesn't like the Celtics don't like him either. What an inspiration LeBron James was to me, and to see that Cavs team sort of defy all the odds. I know it wasn't as dramatic as that when you sort of break it down, but to go there and come back from 3-1 down, and it's like, now they've took the baton over and they're doing it by themselves now. They don't need LeBron anymore because
no.
They've done it, and it's that organic feel, isn't it? I always say, I know when I'm joking about the Lakers and stuff, like they always buy success, and I will die on that hill, and I will 100% die on that hill.
I don't think that's wrong at all.
there's no better feeling than seeing a team organically do it. And I know they've brought in Mitchell and Allen they traded for, but when they traded for Jarrett Allen, he wasn't going to be the main piece on this team. He was just someone that was going to help him get there. And Mobley drafted, Garland drafted. There's a lot of players through that team that were all drafted, and they built them up. And even the players that they traded for, they've developed. They weren't the ready-made package when they got him. I think even Donovan Mitchell, to an extent, was not the finished article when they got him from Utah. And they've honed his skills, and they've made his, I think, even mentality shift.
Yeah.
Just to think, look, you don't have to do it all on your own anymore.
No. Ty Jerome's a classic example. That guy bounced around the league. He's had like 5 or 6 teams, and now he's like their 6th man now. So like you say, they've kind of developed even people that probably didn't think they were going to get a lot of playing time, but now they actually are, aren't they? So this team looked like they got all the ingredients, but it kind of didn't work last year under Bickerstaff, and they let Bickerstaff go, and then so now they've got Kenny Atkinson, and it looks like he's kind of coach of the year candidate, wasn't he, with the job he's done? I mean,
man, I'm being deadly serious. I think he should win. I think he's got to be the favourite for coach of the year.
Funnily enough, it might be him and Bickerstaff who Kenny Atkinson replaced because of the job he's doing in Detroit. You bring success to Detroit, mate. They'll love you forever. So, but
that's it.
100%. So there's a couple of candidates that we'll probably get to later, but yeah, definitely. And they've kind of got people who can come off the bench and kind of contribute, like LeVert and Max Strus and players like that. They can kind of come on and they've been in big games in their careers and stuff. And maybe they're not going to kind of take over games, but they can contribute, can't they, and stuff like that. And I think Kenny Atkinson. Because the thing was with Garland and Mitchell is, they can't work together. It doesn't work as a backcourt. And I think Atkinson's kind of put that to bed. Nobody talks about that now, do they? Because, the Cavs while they were kind of the head, they got the best record in the league until probably 2 or 3 weeks ago. Now kind of OKC are running away with it, aren't they? But you know, are they going to win the East? They're kind of crawling towards the finish line. Then Boston boys are catching them up, bro, a little bit. I don't know. So, but an unbelievable season from Cleveland, isn't it? Even if it kind of peters out maybe, but definitely exceeded expectations, I would say. Wouldn't you? Would you agree, mate?
Absolutely. I mean, I really do think, and this is no disrespect. I think it is because I maybe value what it means to be a superstar more than maybe other people do. I think you might probably agree with me on this as well, Matt. I think a superstar, you are a top 10 player in this league.
Yes, agree.
Even just being a perennial all-star doesn't necessarily mean you're a superstar.
No.
They don't have a superstar on that team. Donovan Mitchell is not a superstar. He's a very, very good player. And he is probably a perennial all-star, but he's not a superstar. And I don't think they do have a superstar on that team. Yes, all right, they've got defensive superstars in Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley that I think are top 10, especially interior defenders in this league. They probably are both top 10 interior defenders.
Yeah.
But there is not one single player that you're thinking he needs to play at the best, otherwise they are not going to do it.
No.
And it's like, we see so many times this season where Mitchell's had a bit of an off night, Garland's picked it up.
Yep.
Backcourt, they feed off each other. They can both assist one another, they can both assist other people, they can both shoot, they can both score, they can both get inside. So they complement. I think they, a lot of the times people say, well, if they do too much of the same thing, they're not going to work. But because they can do it all offensively, it complements it. It complements each other very well. And it releases the pressure, and they know that they don't have to be lights out every night, because if one of them's having a bad game, the other one's probably having a better game. And there's always all the other pieces, like you said, Ty Jerome off the bench, and Max Strus chucking in a few extra points here and there. There's always going to be people to help them along, and that's what you need a team. You need a team, and whether they've got enough to really get over the line remains to be seen, because I think, I'm still taking my Celtics seven times a week and twice on a Sunday to beat the Cavs, just because I think, we've been there, we've done it, and it could just be a case of like where the Seas were not long ago, where it was like, we're just that one piece short. Maybe they're just that one piece short.
Yeah.
If they had even like a dog in the backcourt off the bench that could come out and put the clamps on someone, maybe something like that might just give them that little bit extra. Because it just seems like as good of a season they have. When you look at the playoffs, I just think they're still that one piece short of actually getting all the way and getting over the line.
Yeah. Yeah, they haven't that lockdown defender. They're probably just missing that one kind of player, aren't they? Like you say, bro. So if they come up against Boston, I think Tatum would have a very strong series, I think, against them. But it'd be fun finding out 100% if them two meet, in the conference finals or something like that. I'd tune in, bro, 100% for that one.
I think it's something with that though. I was listening to something the other day, and it's very much that the Cavs are a very good matchup for the Celtics in a 7-game format. The way that the Celtics rotate and things like that, it will probably have the Cavs just a bit all over the place.
Yeah,
because you're gonna get Mitchell and Garland both on a switch, both in rotation.
Yeah,
it could get a bit ugly in some of those games.
Yeah,
I don't even think that's a biased take. I think that's not even my own take. That's a take that I've heard from someone else.
No, absolutely, yeah.
But
I think they've got nobody who could guard Tatum, bro. They've got nobody who could guard Tatum. I mean, they played us the other night. They played the Suns the other night, the Cavs, and nobody could touch Durant, mate. Durant just did whatever he wanted. So if you're getting like that kind of taller kind of player, I think Tatum would have his way, mate. I think against the Cavs, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously, just looking at players, I've been surprised by. You're gonna have to come back. You're gonna have to come back to me on that, because I'm not. What about you, Matt? What player have you been really surprised by?
Player wise, interesting. What player has been surprising to me? I think Cade Cunningham's probably an easy one for Detroit. He got paid a lot of money in the summer, and I think he's kind of shown that he can be a leader on a team and be that go-to guy, 100%. I'd say for that, I think he's kind of. I don't really agree with it being in the most improved kind of conversation, because I feel like he was a good player already, but I think he's kind of up there in terms of, because this is what we do now. Apparently, if you're already a good player and you uh, and you increase your product by 5 points a game, then you kind of get done for the most improved. So, but in terms of other players, I don't know who else kind of player wise. And let's have a look. Who else we got? Team wise, I think Detroit's got to be another one. Nobody, I don't think any, even Detroit fans wouldn't even say that that Detroit had at this point in the season they'd be fifth in the East. Definitely not something that they thought would be happening. And they might even steal the fourth seed at the moment. They're only a couple of games behind Indiana. Well, one in the win column. So that's a definite. The job Bickerstaff's done with that team is because they were a mess, and they've been a mess unfortunately, for a good while. And it looks like they're going to kind of make the playoffs. So for Detroit, especially for the fans as well, to get playoff basketball back in Detroit, it's been a while. So for them guys, that's a definite coup for them guys. But. Who have you got then, George? Any teams or players?
So I mean, I think players. I'm actually I'm actually going to go for my own team here a little bit.
Oh, what a shocker! What a shock!
And not in a good way. Actually.
Oh, okay. Oh, interesting. Curveball, like it.
I mean, what has happened to Drew Holiday? Genuinely, what has happened to him? It's as if this season he's just given up. Like he's playing like a barely above average defense, which is unheard of. And offensively, he's absolutely nowhere to be seen. No. I mean, it was like against the Heat the other night when I watched the Heat. I think it was last weekend when I watched the Heat game, the Heat Celtics game, and we only had obviously it was a back to back. It was a game before the Lakers game, and you had Tatum out there, and that was really it. And it was facilitating everybody else. And I thought, Drew should have a decent night tonight. it's a chance for him. And I think at half time, he put up 4 points, no assists, and 1 rebound. And I was just like, what has happened to him? I'm confused. Surely there's got to be an issue going on there, because I mean, when we won that chip, he was all right. It wasn't as good as when he was on that Bucks team. He has declined since then, but not humongously. It's like there was a bit of a drop off, but it's expected, especially when it's a new team. He's adjusting to it and everything else. Nothing to suggest that he can't get back up to that level, but he's just had a bit of a dip. But we still won the championship at the end of the day. And then it's like this season, he's non-existent offensively, and I mean non-existent offensively. And defensively, he's barely above average, which he used to be arguably, at one time he was arguably the best perimeter defender in the league. It was at that. It was genuinely was at that level, and I just don't know what's happened. He really has just gone out like a light for seemingly no reason. He's not been on the IR very often, and it's not like there's some niggling injury or there's been a report that's come out that says he needs surgery in the summer or anything like that. And there's been nothing like that. So it's a strange one because the team's not changed around him. It's not as if like we've got loads of new players and he's picking up a different role. He's playing more or less the same minutes he was playing last season. So it's very, very strange.
Did he have an injury though? Did he have some kind of hand or wrist injury or
Yeah,
something
he had a
earlier on
wrist
in the
injury,
season?
but
Yeah.
they've already said it's not going to require surgery, and it's been rehab back to full health. So it's
Oh right, okay.
you'd think
I
by
don't know,
now,
man.
surely there's. I don't know. It's a shame because I love that dude, man. He's such a nice guy, and he's like, I don't want to be. I'm not going to trash him for it. It's just I'm so mystified as why
Yeah.
it's just a huge. I know it's obviously maybe not the eye-catching name everyone wants to hear because he's only really like elite defender, a bit of a role player kind of thing. But I think
Mm.
for such an important piece on a team,
Yeah.
that is a massive drop off he's had this season, and
Mm.
it's a shame, really, man.
Hey man, you're reaching your mid-30s. One day you wake up and you're just not as good as you used to be, mate. The day before, who knows? You know what I mean? The man's 34. He's getting on a bit. I don't know. Is that? We've seen it with Paul George, mate. One day you just wake up and you're just not the guy you were yesterday. I don't know. Is that maybe it or?
I mean, I honestly don't know. I can't answer it. I don't think I've been more stumped about someone where I've thought I honestly don't know what it is. Hopefully it works itself out
Yeah.
because it'd be quite a dramatic fall off if this is how it ends up going out for him.
Yeah. He's on a lot of money too, isn't he? I think his
Yeah, but I
salary's
mean,
up there, isn't it?
but realistically, I mean, we're in a position where it would genuinely just be you've had that bad of a season. If we can't work out what's wrong, we're just going to trade you because that's the kind of move that would make
Well,
that's the kind of
yeah.
move that would make sense for a contender. It's going to be like we don't need all this money on our books when that's what you've given us last season. And I'd hate for that to happen because he's given everything to this team, and I think he was absolutely obviously he was devastated when the Bucks let him go, but he never
Yeah.
whinged, never moaned, nothing. Got stuck straight into it with the Celtics. We win a
He's a
chip.
pro's pro, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a shame, really, but I think
Yeah.
just getting out of sadness again, just to bounce another one back to you, mate. And I'm doing this in the absence of the philosopher because he'd probably kill me. I'm gonna give a shout out to the beard.
Okay.
I'm gonna give some love to James Harden.
What?
Yeah,
What?
yeah.
Oh my days! What is
Right.
going on here?
Now, controversial take aside, we're talking about age and getting up there. What is he, 38 now?
Yeah, yeah.
38, I think he
Maybe
is.
not. He's
37.
he's been in the league a long time now. Harden has, mate. He's been in the league a long time. What are
But
we saying? 35.
oh, he's not as old as I thought he was then. But
We're still giving him a shout out then, or
even so, I mean, I'm not going to go into as much detail as with Drew Holiday. I do think that he gets a lot of hate, and some of it's for fair enough reason, but
and some of
I
it
just
from you too, George.
not as much as Adam.
Oh
But no,
well, no.
I
Shout out
do
to
think
Philosopher, man.
that he's played really well this season. He's been like sneaky good this season, and I just think that he's been efficient. Turnovers are way down than what they used to be. I saw a stat the other day, and it's like he's had the lowest turnovers for like the last 9 years or something stupid like that.
Really?
And it's like really, and I'm just like he's looking after the ball a lot better, and maybe he's maturing in his older age, mate. But just playing smarter basketball, and all right, fair enough. It's not translated to the Clippers going to be able to go and do anything major this season, but maybe just silences a couple of the haters a little bit to say, well, he might be 35, not 38.
Yeah.
But he is still learning new little things and new little bits and pieces and learning, look after the basketball a
Yeah.
bit more.
People are doing their annual well, if Kawhi's healthy conversation again, aren't they? I love it. I'm like, here we go again.
Do you know? I saw something
Here it
earlier.
is.
It's the 5-year anniversary of a famous meme. It's the one of the two guys playing 2K when he just shouts "Stop the cap" at him.
Yeah.
What a fitting tribute. Stop the cap. We're not doing that again. It's almost as old as the Ben Simmons shooting threes in the off-season videos.
Oh yeah. Oh, he looks jacked. Look at him. He looks great. No, I've seen it, mate. I've done it. We've been through this already. Yeah, stop it. I don't know. So
They never
next
learn,
one,
bro.
mate.
They never learn.
They never learn. So next one, I thought we'd kind of go through like the Players Awards, bro. You know, who do we think are gonna walk away with the end? Obviously, we're coming towards the end of the season, so these kind of decisions have to be made by some people. I don't get a vote yet, but you know, I think by this time next year, I think I will. So who do you think's going to be who do you think's going to be MVP, George? What it kind of looks like a 2-horse race, but I think you have some thoughts on the on OKC, do you, or maybe just SGA in general?
No. Who do I think's going to win it, or who should win it? Because I think they're two completely different answers.
I think you might be right. Yeah.
I think Shea will win it.
Yeah.
However, without any hesitation, no question, if you have any sense, shove the voter fatigue right up where it belongs, because it's such a lazy, boring argument.
Yeah.
How many MVPs has Jokic won now? Is it 4 he's won? Or 3? 3, 4? 3. This should be number 4 without any question. No shadow of a doubt whatsoever. This is number 4.
Yeah.
This is potentially, statistically speaking, the greatest season we have ever seen from anyone ever. Genuinely, it is going to be. It's got to be right up there, top 3 all time. But you're not going to give him the MVP because he's had it before. I don't need to say more. I honestly don't even think I need to say more than that, mate. I think that speaks for itself. I think anyone who's got any sort of anyone who's not a casual is going to say it's Jokic. Anyone who's a casual is going to say it's Shea, and anyone in the US press is going to say it's Shea because either they think because they've had an award before they shouldn't have it again, or they're stupid, or they're just led by narratives, which all of them are, and I'm sick of all of it.
Yeah. Fair. I think it has a lot to do with, you know, how you grade the MVP. What do you think the MVP is? Is it who the best player in the league is, or is it the best player on the best team? There's a lot of narratives that you can go down, bro, isn't there? Which, you know, we could be here for another 2 hours or something by going through that, couldn't we? But a sneaky good season, I think this year. Giannis has been fantastic too, to be honest, and nobody's talking about Giannis, to be honest. Is it because Doc Rivers is his coach? Maybe, but the documentation on Doc Rivers is long on this show and previous shows that we've been on, George. So we won't say too much more for that, mate.
I've got no idea what you're talking about. Are you by any chance talking about top 20 all-time coach Doc Rivers?
Top 10 all time, bro.
I beg your pardon. Top 10 all time.
Hey, you get it right, bro. Oh dear, but I mean, Shea has had a very good season, bro. I mean, I don't think you can say any different. But like you say, Jokic is like 29, 10, and 12 every night, which is ridiculous, isn't it? I mean, you look at the stats for Shea, mate. His numbers are ridiculous. He's averaging nearly 33 a game, shooting 52% from the field, and things like that. You know, you look at it. He's do you enjoy watching Shea SJ play basketball, Jude, or
what do you think?
I know what the answer is. I want you to tell everybody else.
What do you think? I mean, look, right. I like Shea. I like Shea, not the player. I like him because, all right, the Clippers threw him away, and he has literally just shown them and 10 times over what a horrible mistake that was.
Yes.
And it's nice to see him leading that team because, you know, when that trade happened, no one would have ever believed that he was going to go and lead this, you know, this young OKC Thunder team potentially to greatness this season. But at the same time, nobody, and I mean nobody, wants to see someone who cannot shoot the three proficiently. I know this is. I'm just being careful because I don't want to completely undermine what I said at the start.
Yeah.
But no one wants to see someone who can't shoot the three proficiently, can't get to the basket at an top elite level, just buy himself fouls in the mid range and close to the basket.
Mm.
He is not an elite driver. I do not believe he's elite at driving to the rim. He's
Right.
elite at winning fouls round the rim, but
Okay.
there is a difference. And
Mm.
when I'm saying about elite driving to the basket, I'm thinking like top 5. He's not in the top 5 in my opinion.
Okay.
I think number 1 has and probably always will be LeBron James, even at 40 years old. But
Yeah.
you see the way that he moves to the rim. I mean, obviously he's a freak of human nature, really.
Yeah.
But his actions, I'm getting to that rim. I don't care who's in my way. I'm getting there. Shea is just going, well, I'm going to try, but as soon as someone gets anywhere near me, I'm just going to start flailing my arms around. And
Yeah.
people, this is the same reason. I know I briefly touched on it ages ago, Matt, near the start when I said, and it's kind of funny as well because I just gave the beard a little bit of a, I just gave him a little petal,
Yeah.
and said, he's like a reformed character in a sense. But that is ultimately why Harden got hated in the first place. It was because of the way he played, and it was the way that it was just cheap fouls and cheap points.
Yeah.
All right, okay. Don't get me wrong, people are aware of it and don't like it already with Shea. But if this carries on, he will go down as, well, he's just James Harden, but not as good.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
What a shit. But at the same time, mate, what was one thing that everyone always puts on James Harden's name? Couldn't do it in the playoffs. Could never do it in the playoffs.
No.
Shea's not done it in the playoffs yet. Obviously, yeah, very, 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 very early days yet. So I mean, I'm not gonna deep it that much.
No. Yeah.
But
Yep.
what if this? Because we know the refs don't blow the whistle as much in the playoffs.
Nope.
So it doesn't matter who you are. They don't blow the playoffs. They don't blow the whistle in the playoffs as much. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Because if he drops off by 6 points or 7 points a game, that could be enough to get them beat. And that genuinely could be less. 3 or 4 less trips to the line a game. That might be your playoffs over. It might not be because obviously it depends. It depends really how good this team is. But it's like everyone, I always keep saying I won't let the cat out of the bag yet because I know we're going to talk about them later on. But they're an elite team and they're such a good team and they've got some real players in that, some special players. Has it come too soon? And it's not like they're going anywhere because they're going to be back next year and the year after and the year after that. It's not as if they're going to go anywhere, but maybe this year just isn't it yet. And maybe it'll be back to the drawing board. But I mean, even last season, I never paid obviously as much attention to them as I have this year, even though they were not as good, but not far away from how good they've been this year. But I can't remember all the things coming out about the amount of times that Shea went to the line last year. And it was very similar to this year. It's not like he's jumped up massively, but people weren't talking about it as much. And now people are. And I think that's just a sign that is not going to be what makes people like you in the league. Yeah. And all right, if you're winning awards and you're winning championships and things, you're not going to care that much. But he doesn't strike me as someone that's in the James Harden mold. That he's like, I honestly don't give a shit. I think Shea does care a little bit and doesn't want that perception to be put on him. How that does going forward is a different matter because maybe this is just his play style and he's just going to have to soak it up and say, well, this is just the way I play. But I do think that will factor in and it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. He's still learning. He's not that old. Was he 25, 26? So he's still got a little ways to go. He's not hit prime yet, but
Scary,
it's interesting. Well, yeah, it is, yeah. But I'm not taking anything away from him. I agree with you, Matt. I think Giannis is, again, it's like everyone's forgot who he is, and I've thought this for the last 2 or 3 years. Ever since he won that championship, no one really talks about him anymore. It's weird. It's weird. But I just think that it is a very clear 2-horse race. Jokic for me, I think it's undeniable he should win it.
Okay.
I know we've said before about different parameters for different people. People have different opinions on what matters.
Yeah.
I think you take Shea away from that team, yeah, it's going to make a bit of a difference. You know, they're going to lose like 15, 20 more games. You take Jokic off that Nuggets team, I don't even think that they ain't making a play-in. They are not making a playing game. I don't care about that. You know, the Thunder could probably still be 5 or 6 seed.
Maybe. But yeah, you take Jokic from Denver.
But I think that the Nuggets are probably going to lose 40 more games a season without Jokic. I think the Thunder maybe lose 20 at the most without Shea.
Yeah.
It's such a massive difference. I mean, man, honestly, I'll down this hill. I still think Nikola Jokic is going to go down as the best center of all time when he retires.
Wow.
Especially if he wins another chip. It's over. It's over. If he wins another championship, it is done.
Oh, I don't know, man. I mean, he's amazing, isn't he? He's an amazing player. Going back to Shea, mate, trying to watch him for at least 4 games in a series playing your team is going to be the most frustrating thing ever. It's like when you face a team with Luca on the team. You watch him for at least 4 games, and it's just like, this guy, he's very good at what he does, like Harden was. Harden was good at what he did, but like you say, he come unstuck in the playoffs. So we'll see. You know, like you say, like we said at the start, bro, talking is cheap, isn't it? And playoffs are where the big names are made, and where the best players come. They save their best performances for the playoffs. So we'll see if Shea can carry on doing it, because he's definitely had a great season, 100%. Next kind of regular season award. I don't know. We can just rip through these, can't we? 6th man of the year. You've got a Boston boy involved in this one, George. How is the Peyton Pritchard bandwagon? You're on mute, bro.
Yeah. It wouldn't see. You know what, Matt? It wouldn't be a podcast, would it, if no one said, "Jordan, you're on mute," because that used to happen all the time.
Way more than it should have done, dude.
I mean, it's alive and kicking, isn't it? I mean, the jump that we've seen this year. I mean, forget 6th man of the year. I think he's at least. I'm not saying he should win it. He should be at least in a conversation for most improved, I think.
Well, that's it. Which one are you? Which category are you going to be in? Like,
I mean, I still think by default you should be a starting player to be most improved. I think that is a benchmark, in my opinion. But I think just for what he's contributed to this team, because we've had so many times we've just felt like we fell asleep a little bit, and then we've had that massive injection off the bench where, I mean, it's like the other night, even Derek White going for 40 plus each, and he was shooting an insane clip on threes, and it's like, you will never find another 6th man in this league these days that can do that. I just don't think there's no one else in this league that can come off the bench and is a bench caliber player that can give you 40 points on a night, even if it's a one-off. I just don't think that can happen.
Tough, man.
Yeah. All right, fair enough. There's glaring issues on defense, and I think this is one interesting thing. Just with one head on the playoffs, there is a very reasonable chance that as the playoffs go deeper, he might not even be in the rotation come the finals.
Do you think?
Or at the very least on very limited minutes, because I just think he would just get targeted every single time that the other team caught the floor.
You get targeted a lot more, don't you, in the playoffs?
Yeah. And I think that wouldn't look good for his resume as a 6th man of the year. But at the end of the day, it's like we say every year, it's a regular season award, so it shouldn't really matter. And I feel like you already sort of touched on Ty Jerome as well. He's bounced around the league, and now he's found like, who would have thought that would have ever happened? But again, I think that he should be a very strong contender for most improved player of the year.
Yeah,
even though he's coming off the bench. That, like, we're not talking about Pritchard, who was a useful role player off the bench. Ty Jerome No one's even bothered. They're like, oh, he's on. Oh, you got Ty Jerome on your bench. Oh, cool, man.
That's cool. Nice. Well done.
Whereas now it's like this guy is giving you heat off the bench pretty much every night, and he's becoming a problem. That's a huge, massive jump that probably no one other than Mama Jerome ever saw coming.
Not even her, bro. Not even Mama Jerome saw this one coming, mate.
So I think that in of itself, mate, should be taken into consideration. But for me, similar to the MVP race, probably a 2-horse race between those two. I'm obviously gonna favour Pritchard, but even so, I've already said I've got a lot of affinity for this Cavs team, and if Ty Jerome won it, I think he'd be a very worthy winner. I'm not really hurt either way. It's not going to bother me either way. I think either one of those two guys, I'll be satisfied with winning it.
It's usually whichever six man's averaging the most points usually wins this award. Is that pretty safe to say? That's pretty much how it goes, isn't it? Whoever's averaging the most off the bench, he's six man, like kind of thing. So, I think Pritchard is a massive favourite. Malik Beasley as well is kind of in the betting as well. He's second favourite in the betting. Malik Beasley, he's for the Detroit Pistons. He's approached the six man of the year betting. So that's an interesting one. I think he's averaging nearly.
I can't get behind that, man. Come on.
We're clutching at straws with that one, are we?
I mean, all right. If someone wanted to throw in a conversation, I'm not going to say no, but no, he can't be second favourite of Ty Jerome. He can't be.
Mate, Ty Jerome's like fourth in the betting. Joint third.
Man, that's surprising. You know what? Maybe it is because I'm putting too much emphasis on the level of improvement rather than just the sole impact.
Yeah.
Maybe that is it. But yeah, I mean, if that's the case, man, if it's between Malik Beasley and Peyton Pritchard, well, end of conversation. That should be pretty straightforward in my opinion. They were the only two guys really for me that I was even thinking of as award winners, not in terms of sixth men, but just in terms of award winners. They were really the only two that I could.
Do you know who has the same odds as Ty Jerome for sixth man of the year?
Bradley Beal.
Ouch, bro. Ouch. Good guess, but not the one. No. Russell Westbrook.
All right, okay.
There you go.
Shouldn't be. I think that's just paying homage to the way that he's conducted himself and the fact that no one ever thought he'd come off the bench.
I mean, Malik Beasley's averaging more points off the bench than Pritchard is. So just give you.
How many wins have the Pistons got this year?
Not as many as the Celtics.
By how many?
Detroit are 41-32, Boston are 54-19. So there you go.
I think that's good enough. Really.
Yeah. We'll put that to bed then. Yeah, we're done with that one, mate. You can either bet on Peyton Pritchard against the field as well. So there you go. They think it's a wrap, bro. It's a wrap, that one.
Yeah, it probably is, mate. Well, I mean, I've not looked at the odds or anything. I've got no idea, but I just think, in terms of the eye test.
No, well, good, mate.
And the impact.
Yeah. Clutch player of the year. We're not discussing that, are we? Is that a thing? No, we're not doing that.
What utter woke nonsense that is.
I don't know what. Yeah, it's whoever leads the league in clutch stats. Surely that's it. Coach of the year. I think we kind of said that it's Kenny Atkinson. That one's wrapped up, bro. Yeah.
I mean, Sorry, I got mixed up then. No, I agree. I agree. I do agree. It's got to be.
Yeah.
I just think in terms of the massive jump they've made, especially for obviously, well, it's obviously not first season coach, but first season with the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yeah.
And for that big of a jump, I think, because realistically, there's been not really any changes other than Ty Jerome becoming, this great bench piece. The roster is pretty much the exact same as when he took it over. At that point, you've got to attribute it to the coach, I think, at that point.
Yeah. But then Bickerstaff left there and gone to Detroit, and now they're kind of halfway in the East. So Bickerstaff's done a decent job as well. So sometimes, is it the right situation, right players? Detroit are quite a young team, so I think they kind of, maybe listen to Bickerstaff a bit more. I don't know. But Mark Dagenham, he's not even in the betting. And, the year that OKC have had, I mean, he won it last year. Again, if you've usually won it one year, you're definitely not winning it again the next year, are you? And,
I mean, I think it's probably more the case of I don't think that's to say that that he's not getting any respect for it. I think it's just because that's what we expect that from you now. So
yes,
that's the expectation, which is it's a victim. He's a victim of his own success in a way.
Absolutely. Your boy Joe's not even in the betting, mate. So let's.
No, you don't care. He's too busy mean mugging people in the press room to even care. He's just like mean mugging people just for asking basic questions.
So some of these press conferences are gold, aren't they? They're fantastic.
Oh man,
he's just. I'm ready to go to war. I love it. It was brilliant.
I can say, just to think when how good Ime Udoka had done in that year, and I was like, oh my god, it's all gone wrong, and then they wheel out this guy called Joe Mazzulla, and I'm like, oh my god, like no idea who he is,
and how bad he was that first year as well, bro. To be fair,
but then all of a sudden he just clicked, didn't it? Like almost out of nowhere, and it's like, hang on a minute, maybe this guy knows what he's doing, and
maybe he's all right, yeah. Now he's.
I can even remember all the allegations that were going on. I'm not going to specifically talk about him, but allegations about Joe Mazzulla and things in his personal life that people believed for months and months on end, and then it turned out it wasn't true, and they were just concocted because of what Ime Udoka had been fired for. People thought it'd be quite funny to start making allegations about Joe Mazzulla that were completely unfounded. And it's like, and now he's turned into being like this absolute juggernaut that doesn't feel emotion, doesn't really care whatsoever, and just drips aura, bro. That's all it really is, isn't it?
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. No, it's but I think that coach of the year is kind of sewn up, bro, isn't it? Like you say. So this one's an interesting one, bro. Defensive player of the year. Somehow, a certain Golden State Warriors player has jumped to as being the favorite to win this award. Draymond Green wasn't really mentioned as defensive player of the year for much of the season. Now he's kind of on like a one-man kind of crusade to kind of win this award, saying he should have more than one award. He's only won it once. He should win it more times before his career is done. So do you agree with Draymond, Jordan, or do you have another name suggesting?
I mean, it's a great sentiment, isn't it? Because, personally, I think that, Tracy McGrady should have a ring. Russell Westbrook should have a ring. All these players should have an MVP. Derrick Rose should have had a career. The sky should be blue. The grass should be green. Like, what is he trying to get at there? You can't just say, I should have more than one award.
Yeah.
Bro, I should have £1 million. I can't give you a good reason for why that is. I should just have it. Like
I just deserve it, though, don't you, George?
You go out there and you show me you deserve it.
Yeah.
I don't care. He's a talker. He talks and talks and talks. And I still, to this very day, I do not understand why the Golden State Warriors, and especially Steve Kerr, stick by him. I've got no idea.
No.
I can still remember when we all thought it was coming to an end in Golden State. When Steve Kerr had that press conference and he's like, the guy who got suspended for this, the guy who punched Jordan Poole. And I'm like, this is the end. He's out of there.
We're done, yeah.
And then they go, and they essentially, they picked him over Klay Thompson.
Yeah.
And it's like, bro, you ain't that. You are not that. You're not that guy. And it's like, you're just boosting his ego even more now. Because he's not responsible for their success. You're a part of that success. I'm not going to take that away from him. He's a perennial champion. I'm not going to go full circle the other way and start, ripping the man to pieces. It might be annoying, but he's earned his success. I'm not taking that away from him. He filled his role out, and that's fine. Sure. But bro, the sun is set now. It is over, and you are not that guy. You are not a DPOY. You just not. That's not what you are. You're a pest on defense. yeah, you get your hands dirty and things like that, but you get your hands quite a lot dirty for my liking with some of your antics, Mister Draymond Green.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, we won't ever forget the nut shots, will we? And the fact that he's just prevented Stephen Adams' entire bloodline from having any kids ever again.
You forget, don't you, how many things are actually when you start reeling them off, like, you know.
And I
Yeah.
just think, I mean, what has he really shown us this year to say you are the best defender in this league?
Mm.
Anything except there's
Yeah.
nothing exceptional, is there? It's not
No.
like he's had a 8, 9, 10 block game, or he's had like a multi-steal game, like a highlight reel game.
Mm.
He hasn't. He's just done what he always kind of does, and it's nothing exceptional.
Mm.
It's certainly nothing that's going to set any worlds on fire or anything like that. I mean, I think it's a bit of a strange race this year. That's probably why it has opened itself up to be manipulated by someone like that. But
Yeah.
it's just he's oh man, he just seems like such a boring, lazy choice. Like, oh, let's just give it to Draymond Green because he's asked for it. Like, come on, man, can't be doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's who would you give it to then instead of Jordan? Have you got anybody in mind or?
I mean, I was looking. I did actually have the list up earlier, and I can't remember where it's gone now. Let me see if I can pull it up. I don't know if you can still see me. My screen's gone.
No, your screen's gone now, mate. Don't worry, we're good.
Oh yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about. Of course it is. I literally mentioned him earlier. Well, it's got to be Evan Mobley, man. Come on.
Well, he was the favourite after obviously
This is what I
Wemby
mean.
went down. You know, it's.
Well, I mean, look, if Victor's healthy, he would have run away with that award literally by a complete and utter distance.
Yeah,
and it's like
it was wide open after that. Then, wasn't it? It was kind of like, oh god,
yeah. So
we need to have somebody.
So all of a sudden, Draymond Green's thought, all right, I'll have it then. I'll have Wembanyama's leftovers because I'm never going to win anything else for the rest of my career. But at the same time, bro, that's not harsh. He's won more than his fair share.
Absolutely, yes, absolutely, yeah, that's true. That's true. It was a slight dig, though. It was good. I liked it.
I just think that Evan Mobley, man, you know, I've already told you what I think about him and his development and his growth and stuff.
Yeah,
he's the elite defender on that team. He's a top 5 defender, and if you were to sit people down and just said just on the basis of this season, forget everything else that's happened, forget any narratives, just on the way that they've played this year. Evan Mobley, I'd argue he's going to be a top 3 defender. That includes Victor. I don't think anyone mentions Draymond Green. No one. Not a single person I don't think is going to sit there and tell you that Draymond Green is a top 3 defender in this league. If you were to tell them all the narrative side of it and the fact that he's the favourite, they'd probably say, oh, right, well, maybe he deserves it. But
yeah, no, it's a difficult one, isn't it? This one's it's kind of like you said. If Wembanyama was still playing, this one's a runaway, isn't it? So now it's kind of like, oh god, we need to give it somebody. So who are we going to give it to? Other people a lot of people like Dyson Daniels, don't they? Because he's a kind of one of them old school, that kind of lockdown defenders. He's averaging over 3 steals a game, so you've got to be a good defender for do that, haven't you? You know, it's things like that. Jackson Jr. maybe has had a pretty good year, Annie, for the Grizzlies. Some people
again, I think it's similar to Triple J. It's like it's the same thing with kind of Mark Dagnall. It's like Triple J. He's still defending at an elite level, but he's not doing any better than he did when he won it. So therefore, it's like, well, if you want to win this award, you're going to have to do twice as good as that now.
Yeah.
So that kind of makes a rod for your own back. I'm not saying that's right, but that's just the way it is. But yeah, Dyson Daniels, man, that's been the outside pick that I've seen a lot of people saying. Just maybe it's people just being different for different sake, because I think we could all agree he's not going to win that award.
No.
Only 2 guards have ever won it, as we know. It was some guy called Gary Payton and the greatest perimeter defender this century,
Oh
Marcus
Jesus!
Smart.
Oh God! The goat won it one year, mate. The
I
goat
do.
won it
I
one
do.
year.
Oh yeah, of course he did.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Forgot about
Nope.
that guy. What was his name again?
Yeah, who's that guy? You need to watch the doc again, bro. You need to recognize. You need to remember this stuff. Well, no, you're good, mate. Uh,
No, it's
most
point guard, wasn't
improved
it? It was the first point
point
guard. It was
guard.
the
No,
first.
you're
Yeah,
right, bro.
point guard. Yeah, that was
Yeah,
my
yeah.
fault. My wording just not
No,
quite
no,
accurate enough, mate.
no. You're good, bro. You're good. Most improved's a bit of a. It's always a bit of a weird award as well. I think
Oh.
it's a dodgy one, but looks like Cade
I'm
Cunningham's
just gonna
kind
have to
of
pull.
favorite. Go
Yeah,
on,
I'm
bro.
just gonna have to pull the list up again because this is just something that I
Tough one.
barely even really put any thought into it because usually it's players who are already very, very good. You know, I mean, I'm never going to forgive the fact that Ja Morant won Most Improved Player that year.
Yeah, I
I
hated that.
mean, Jesus
Hated that one.
Christ, man,
Yeah.
really?
Even though he was already averaging 20 points a game beforehand. Hated that. Didn't like that. Yeah.
I think Cade and Dyson Daniels both deserve it for very different reasons.
Hmm.
Like, yeah, okay. I think there's been this whole narrative that like Cade was already good. No, he wasn't. He shot horrendously. He was very,
Mhm.
very inefficient.
Yeah.
He had high turnover per assist ratios. Yeah, okay, he could pass the ball and things like that, and he did have yeah, his playmaking ability had a bit of work to be done.
Mm.
Defensively, he's always been fine defensively. Not really any issues there. He was always sort of an average defender. But then you
Yeah.
flip it, he's become this season a plus defender. He's
Mm.
become a plus playmaker. His turnovers to assists is way, way better than it was. And he's
Yeah.
just shooting the ball a lot better. And not just shooting the ball a lot better, but he's making better decisions.
Yeah.
And I just think that obviously he's the leader of that Detroit Pistons team. That's without question.
Mm.
And he's the main reason that they're probably doing as well as they are doing.
Yeah, I
But
think the
then,
record has a lot to do with it, bro, as well, doesn't it? I think the
yeah,
improvement
oh,
that
definitely.
team's made as well, and he's their best player. It kind of goes back to maybe the Shea thing again. You know, you have the best record in the league, and you're the best player on that team. Is that maybe that what people kind of look for, like you say? But the kind of increase in stats is not really that much different than last year. He was averaging 22 a game last year. This year he's averaging nearly 26. So not that much difference in terms
Mm.
of stats points wise, but like you say, I think the team has improved, and therefore, you know, it's kind of maybe just come from that. Would you say?
Yeah, I think it's just like I was alluding to, mate. It's the
Mm.
way he's playing rather than just the raw numbers.
Yeah,
It's the way he's playing the
absolutely.
game. It's a lot
Yeah.
more intelligent.
Mm. Yeah.
It's less deer in the headlights because I think at
Yeah.
times
Yeah.
it was like he felt that you could see, felt that pressure that like he needs to make it happen. And
Yeah.
I
Like that
think
look,
now,
that look Jalen Green has when he plays for the Rockets.
yeah. And just to think, I can
Yeah.
still remember once upon a time me thinking that Jalen Green is going to be a superstar in this league. What an idiot I was.
Hey, there's still time, bro. There's still time. Don't give up yet,
Man,
mate. Don't give up yet.
yeah. I just don't see it. I just
Are
don't
you
see
out?
it.
Are you out on this?
I,
Okay.
I'm not saying he's not going to get to All Star level, but in terms of superstar level, I'm sold on that one.
Okay. No. Well, yeah, that's
Um,
fair. That's fair.
but no, I think that's obviously one reason. But the one that again, like I said, Dyson Daniels is the other one, but it's obviously for a very different reason. It's the fact that
Yeah.
he was just seen as just he's not an NBA player. He'd do really
Mm.
well in like the Euro League, for example, but
Yeah.
his game just isn't going to translate very well to the NBA. And then it's like all of
Mm.
a sudden he's almost tweaked the things that needed tweaking. Not made massive adjustments really, but
No.
just he's leaning heavily now on the things that benefit him
Yeah.
and what he's good at, rather than just trying to make his game fit around the league. And I think it's the unique factor, isn't it? I think as well because he's a
Mm.
very unique player. What you see with what he offers with his skill set, you don't get that
Yeah.
from every other player, and I think that's what intrigues people and what they like about his game.
Mm.
And yeah, I mean, obviously he's getting a much bigger role now
Mm.
than he was getting previously, so he's been able to
Yeah.
showcase that a lot more.
I mean, he
But
went from a throw-in and a trade to go into Atlanta, and now he's kind of like one of their main guys now. That's the kind of most improved thing I like to see, is where you go from pretty much no one to them being a kind of guy who's getting, regular minutes and starting for your team. I mean, last year he averaged 5.8 points a game. Now he's averaging 14 this year. That's the kind of jump I'm looking for in my most improved player, mate. That's what I'm looking for. Not that I already averaged 20 a game and now I average 24. You're already good anyway for me. But that's the kind of jump that Daniels has done for me. That's the kind of thing that as I look for in the most improved, bro.
yeah, I mean, as well, just off the back of that, I think obviously he's being given a bit more opportunity and he's being trusted a little bit more. But I think at the same time, when your partner is Trae Young, who is a turnover machine, who unlike Donovan Mitchell, is a complete and utter cone on defense.
Yeah.
Anyone, if anyone even suggests otherwise, let's just not do that.
No.
He complements what Trae Young doesn't do well.
Yeah.
And I'm not a Trae Young hater. I know there is a lot of them out there, but I'm not a hater. I just know that he's got massive flaws that
Sure.
his sort of partner in the backcourt is able to patch up. We're talking about an elite perimeter defender, bro. You're saying 3 steals a game, that kind of work.
Sure.
That's going to complement Trae very, very well. He can playmate very well. And the playmaking style that he does is very different to Trae Young. I had a very, very long-winded argument a long time ago with one Mr. Kiernan. And he was telling me that Trae is a good playmaker. And I said, I think he's a lazy playmaker. I think, a lot of them are lob passes, a lot of them are handoff passes, a lot of them are just dump passes when he's got nothing else to give. Whereas he's very much shoot first, isn't he? Shoot first. Exactly. If the shot's not, obviously, but if the shot's not there, just throw it to someone and hope it goes in. Whereas Dyson Daniels is very much pass first. If the right shot's there, then I'll take the shot, but pass first. Look for the option. Look for who's available. And that's what I mean. I think it just complements the way that the star of that team in Trae Young works and operates. It complements the way that Dyson Daniels plays very well. And I think that's why he's having the success that he's having. It's almost a perfect pairing in the backcourt, isn't it? It's like little and large.
Yeah. The Murray Trae Young backcourt didn't quite work, did it? Your boy Murray, mate. It just didn't happen for them guys, did it, in Atlanta?
No, I mean, again, it's just. I think that was kind of a strange one. It's because obviously DeJounte Murray. I think everyone thought, including me, his defense was a lot better than it probably actually was, and I think that got found out to an extent in Atlanta. It's like, yeah, okay, he's a decent defender, but he's nothing. He's nothing special. He's not like that's going to be one of his selling points is that he's a plus defender.
Yeah.
You contrast that with Dyson Daniels, and it's like. He's offering you that now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, absolutely, mate, absolutely. So, I'd probably go with Dyson Daniels, mate. For me, it's the kind of jump I want to see in your most improved. I think Cade was already, a pretty good player already, and then he has made a jump, no doubt. But I just think I like the kind of big jump that kind of Daniels has done. In terms of production and stuff, so I'd go with that, mate. But who would you go with this one?
I would take Cade, just because I think on that. While I do agree with your point, and I know we've had this discussion before where we've both massively agreed that is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I think Cade is a special case in that I think there's more to it than that.
Yeah.
Whereas in the past that's not been the case. I just think there is so much more to it than just the raw numbers. However, having said that, I would not be opposed either way, regardless on who won. I think either one of those deserves it. Whoever wins it, fair play.
Happy with that. Yeah. Do we need to talk about Rookie of the Year, or just move on for that one? I don't know.
So, sorry, who was the number 1 pick last year?
We did say off air. Not many people remember who the number 1 pick was last year, but
Matt, before we say it, just everyone who's listening or watching, just think for like 5 seconds. Who was number one? Who was the number one
was
pick
the
last
one
year?
pick?
Now, if you really can remember it, then fair enough. For
Kudos to you.
those, the vast majority you can't. It was Zachary Rizachet for said Atlanta Hawks, who isn't starting.
Yeah.
Bit in and out. I mean, is this going to go down as the worst draft ever? Quite possibly.
Oh, ouch! Yeah,
It's going to be up there. It's
yeah,
going to be up there, definitely.
yeah. That's true. In the betting, it looks like Castle from Spurs is going to
Yeah, I'd
run
go
away
along
with
with that.
this one.
Yeah,
It's
I'd go along with that.
probably
Yeah,
probably
Stephon.
right.
I've
Isn't
got
it?
along with Stephon Castle winning that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably the one. I don't think there's anybody else you can kind of make a
No,
case
it's
for,
like
really.
even in a stinking pile of dog shit, Greg Popovich has still come up with the best pick. It just they write themselves, don't they? Sometimes with Pop.
Doesn't even need to coach anymore, mate. Unfortunately, but yeah, it's. Hope Pop comes back next year, though, man. But it'd be nice for him to go out on his own terms rather than due to health or anything
Due
like
to
that.
ill
You know what I
health,
mean?
yeah,
But,
definitely, mate.
yeah, do you know what
What a legend, and it just goes to show, even after all that, mate, he's still bloody got it.
I mean? He's
Still, I'm able to identify, that in what was really a terrible draft. So.
Yeah. This might be one that you look back on, and Castle turns into a decent player, and people were like, in a really bad draft, Castle went, I can't remember what pick Castle was, but people might look back at this one and go,
I think he was 11 or 12. I want to say
something. I think he was in double digits, wasn't it? I think, yeah.
I'm pretty sure. I want to say it was one of those two. I'm not 100%.
Yeah. So they might look back on that, going, "How the hell did this guy go like 10 or 11 when in a really poor kind of talented draft?" But yeah, I think that was all the Players Awards done, bro.
I'll tell you what. I'll find out for you. I'm just going to ask Siri and see what they say.
Doing this live on the pod, love it.
It's not even working.
Oh dear.
I just thought so. I don't have to search it, mate, and lose the camera footage again. But it's no. Siri's not having it, so that's not going to happen.
No, never mind, mate. Never mind. Maybe last segment before we head out, George. Any thoughts on the sale of the Celtics, bro?
That's an interest. I wasn't expecting that one.
I thought you'd be ready for this one, bro.
Obviously, I'll let you do the honors, mate, and tell the people all about it, because I'm sure it's not going to be. I don't think this is going to be something that everyone knows about. I think the majority of people probably will, but I do think there'll be quite a sizable amount of people that don't know or don't care.
Well, the aim is to always sell high, is what they say. So I think the previous owners of the Celtics, once they kind of won the title, I think it was kind of out there to, let's put this thing out on the market and see what we can get. And the number ended up being $6.1 billion, which is a nice tidy sum, I could imagine. They definitely didn't pay that money for that, bro, for the team. So
it's not bad, is it? Just a cool $6 billion. That's not a bad amount, is it?
I love it. It has to be the 6.1. This is what took it over the edge. What are your thoughts on the sale kind of going through? And do you know anything about the new owners that are about to take over?
So I mean, obviously, realistically, I think it's a unique sport, and I think just in terms of franchise sport, it's very different to some of the other sports and things that are played around the league. Is that it matters a lot more who your owners are in franchise sport.
Yes.
It really, really does. Dallas Mavericks. So.
Oh God, that's another podcast.
Yeah, I'm not going to open that can of worms, mate.
No.
But it's a weird one, because obviously I think the Grassberg family, especially obviously Whit Grassberg, was the face of it. Really, he was the only one really that had anything to do with the Celtics.
Sure.
He did give a lot of his time up, to speak openly with the fans and things. He was very fan orientated, very hands on approach. Always came across very measured. Didn't come out with anything outlandish. He did what he was supposed to do as an owner. he paid the money, he footed the bill for the luxury tax, and it resulted in a championship. Happy days. And like you said, sell high. That is definitely the right approach to do. And I mean, this is probably it was a case of it just being too good of an offer to refuse. I think.
Yeah.
And I know the guy. His surname's escaping me at the moment.
I'll have a look for you, mate. Can't remember.
Michael thing, isn't it? I want to say that's right.
Oh, there we go.
It's probably not.
Yeah. Now carry on though, mate. And I'll get it.
I know that from what a lot of the things that I've read in Celtic forums and things like that, he's a massive sort of lifelong Boston Celtics fan. He's obviously a very, very wealthy man, but he's a lifelong diehard Celtics fan.
William Chisholm,
that's it.
Yeah. Sorry for the pronunciation there, but
very much likes to operate in the shadows, so you probably won't see much of him. He'll just be the money man behind it. It's not going to be like Steve Ballmer jumping up and down at Clippers games or anything like that, or like Mark Cuban smoking a cigar with the team when they win a championship. But it fits nicely, I think, with Celtics culture. It seems very sensible. It doesn't seem that I don't think we've got anything to be worried about. There's certainly no alarm bells going off. Nothing like that. He's not come in and made some grandiose sweeping statement.
Yeah.
He's just sort of acquired the team, and it's like, let the rest of the season play out, no distractions and things. And I think that is quite telling that he's just decided to say nothing. That's almost like one positive already, I think. The fact that he's just letting the team get on with it, and we'll address it in the off season. It's a long off season, so we can talk about it then.
Sure.
And I think if that's the sort of example he's leading with, then I'm all for it. I think it's a very, very measured approach, similar to, like I said, about Wick Grausberg and the Grausberg family. It was always very measured. It was never anything silly. And it just seems to fit very well. So yeah, I'm indifferent, mate. At the end of the day, I don't think it's a massive positive. I don't think it's a massive negative. I think it's just things will just keep ticking over, and that's what you want as a fan. You don't want someone who's going to come sweeping in with a massive checkbook and start ripping things down and ripping trees up, and you just want it to just keep going along on the same sort of barometer, especially when things are going well.
Sure. No, absolutely. Do you think it was good value at 6.1 billion?
Might have been a bit pricey for me, mate, to be honest.
Is it out your price range, Rob?
Yeah, I think that the 0.1 really that took the biscuit, to be quite honest.
Yeah, it was a lot of money when you don't even own the arena. That's kind of the overwhelming thing.
Funnily enough, actually, apparently the only thing that has been rumored is that the first thing he's going to do is he's going to buy back the arena.
I think you've got to, mate. Yeah.
I mean, look, at the end of the day, if you're putting $6.1 billion into a team, I want that in stadium. I don't care. It's mine. So, but from what I understand and from what a lot of people have been saying, that is the number one priority. Is that this summer they are buying it back and they are renaming it the Boston Garden.
Yeah.
Rightly so.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously we'll see, but that is one thing that I think. It was happening at one point, wasn't it? People were selling it off to sponsorships and things. And then I think across a multitude of sports, you've seen more and more often recently, even when you've had really rich owners coming in who've had no really affiliation with the team, they're not fans of the club, they've been buying back the stadium and putting it back into the club's hands.
Yes.
And obviously that's beneficial anyway, because if you have events and stuff on when the team aren't playing there, you can get 100% of the profits then and reinvest it back into it. So it does make sense really all round.
100%.
I think whenever you sell it off to a sponsor, whenever you sell like any arena or stadium off to a sponsor, it just screams of you want quick cash, which is not good because you want some stability in the way things are run. And I think if that was something they did, I think that would go down massively well with the Celtics fans and everything else. And I think it would be a step in the right direction. But let the rumours swirl. I think he seems very happy to just keep things going day by day as they are. There's no need to sort of do any press conferences or anything like that or sit down. It's just let's just keep it going. So positive. I'm seeing positive signs at the moment, but like I said, I do feel generally just indifferent to it, mate. To be quite honest.
No, that's fair, mate. That's fair. Yeah, I think you haven't really got to come in and make any changes, really, have you? Because the kind of Celtics are in a very nice spot, aren't they? So you haven't got to come in and go, oh, we're going to change this, this, and this. I think, like you say, I don't think he's. Well, why would you? Why would you make any changes at the moment? Because things are going well, aren't they? So you don't really need to. But like you say, the arena, probably getting the arena back as definitely something you've got to look to get done, haven't you? 100%. So
now there was a rumor actually that it was included as part of the deal. That's not been confirmed or denied.
I don't.
There was a rumor that within that money that he paid, that included regaining the rights for the stadium. Again, I've seen people saying that's a load of crap. I've seen other people saying no, that's 100% what's happening. But it's not now. It'll be as of next season, which is why there's not been any sort of announcement or anything, and why maybe the rumors are swirling.
It's still going through approval. It's not even. It hasn't even gone through.
Well, yeah, because I mean, obviously, our best mate Adam Silver has to do all the checks and everything, and even if you're a terrible owner with stupid ideas, he's just going to approve you anyway. So who cares, really?
Another swipe on Adam Silver as we head out. Just another swipe as we were going there, mate. Love that.
It couldn't be any other way, really, could it?
No, absolutely, bro. But things are looking good for your boys, mate. So we'll see if they can repeat, man. It's tough to do. That repeat, bro.
Tough. So, it is tough, man.
We'll see. We'll see what happens, but I'm sure you'll be watching, bro, and hopefully maybe get some watch-alongs in, bro, when the playoffs are on, mate.
That is seriously rolling back the clock, isn't it?
You'll have to get League Pass on, bro, so we can do it on the playback TV and stuff.
Oh, mate, I've had League Pass actually. I've got a little Christmas deal on it when I
nice.
saw the right price. I thought, I'll have a bit of that, please.
That. Hey man, we'll have to do some watch-alongs, mate, when the playoffs start. That'll be a good time because the tip-off times are a bit more UK friendly, aren't they? When the playoffs start, so
they are when they start, but by the time they finish, they are just absolutely terrible.
It's a long time being on a podcast, mate. But,
you're like pulling a night shift watching the finals, aren't you?
True. Yeah. Oh yes. 100%. But that's all the time that we've got, bro. But George, an absolute pleasure, bro. It's good to see you, mate. It's been a while, so it was fun to chop it up with you, mate, and get your opinions on stuff. So thank you for coming on, mate, and it's good to see you. So do you want to tell the people where they can find you, bro, before we head out, mate?
Yeah, of course, mate. Like I said at the start, absolute privilege as always, mate. It's always great talking hoops with yourself, and it's just it's just like a nostalgia trip really at the moment. So I've loved it, mate. And again, thank you very much for having me. Anyone who's interested can find me there at the handle NBA_infamous on X, where I don't really use it that much anymore, but that's pretty much the only place these days. I'm like a social pariah or social media pariah. There's a very big difference there. But yeah, that's where you can find me if you want to come and tell me how great the Celtics are and the fact that Marcus Smart is the greatest DPOY winner this side of the turn of the millennium. Then that's where you can find me.
Wow. That was quite an introduction for yourself, mate. That was good. Well done. But pleasure to have you on, bro. Hopefully, we won't leave it too long next time, mate. But it was a pleasure to have you on, bro. So I'm Matt at PostUp323. So you'll be able to watch this podcast back on YouTube, or you can listen to it on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts. Don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. Also follow us on the socials at Shooters Lounge 3. We'll be back again, probably in a couple of weeks with another episode, with another guest, maybe even several guests, who knows. But take care, guys. Thanks very much, and we will see you